Welcome to Know Your Rights, presented by Metropolitan Education District. My name is Jason Scholl, and I am the Public Information Officer at the district. We collected the latest information from the Immigrant Legal Resource Center, a trusted advocate for immigrants around the country. We divided this video into chapters so you can quickly reference the topics that are important to you. Click on the chapter icon to see a list of available topics. Let's get started. Immigration under a Trump presidency. The administration will ask Congress for money to hire more enforcement agents and construct new detention centers. The plan to build a border protection wall also needs a large amount of money to be approved. United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents can arrest any undocumented person. DACA recipients who have not committed any crimes should not be a priority for arrest. Officially, the highest arrest priority are people who are convicted or accused of any crime, or who ICE thinks committed any crime, or any other person ICE decides is dangerous. There are currently between 11 and 12 million undocumented people in the United States. The government does not have the resources to arrest and deport everyone. In fact, there is only capacity to process 400,000 people at this time. In the previous Obama administration, the deportation priority was clearly defined to target felony criminals, people convicted of the most serious crimes. It is important to understand the Trump administration changed the definition of a criminal to include everyone convicted or accused of a crime. Assembly Bill 60 driver's licenses. The California Department of Motor Vehicles may issue an original driver's license to residents without requiring proof of legal citizenship. School documents, marriage licenses, rental agreements, utility bills, or medical documents are suitable forms of identification for a driver's license. United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement is not permitted to scroll through the DMV database of driver's licenses to try to find immigrants. But if ICE has a specific name and date of birth, it can get an address from the DMV. The DMV cannot confirm the information is from an AB60 driver's license. Action item. The Immigrant Legal Resource Center advises undocumented persons who drive to get an AB60 driver's license to reduce the risk of deportation. Future expedited removal. Right now, except at the United States border, undocumented people have the right for a legal hearing before an immigration judge before they are deported. The Trump administration may create new regulations that change the right to a hearing before a judge. The proposed executive order would require people to prove they have lived in the United States for 2 years or more in order for a hearing. This rule is not yet in effect. Action item. It is important to collect proof of living in the United States for 2 years or more. Collecting documents like medical records, PG&E, or other utility bills are a good start. Do not use documents that show immigration status or unlawful employment. Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA. Under the new administration, DACA could end, continue as it is, or be put into federal law in the Bridges Act. Currently, the administration states that unless there is a criminal conviction, DACA persons are not a priority for enforcement, but this is not a guarantee. DACA could end. It is not a law. Why renew DACA? Renewal extends your employment authorization, but we recommend not to travel outside the United States on parole. The Department of Homeland Security already has your information. ICE says that they will not seek out DACA recipients. But if ICE runs into you, DACA is not a guarantee against deportation, especially if you have a criminal record. It is important to know your rights to protect against ICE actions. What the future holds. Based on Trump's campaign rhetoric and the new composition of Congress, we expect the following. No comprehensive immigration reform that would have included legalization to be introduced in the coming years. No expanded DACA or DAPA. Litigation on the legality of Trump's orders. Courts will review and sometimes stop enforcement of some of the president's orders. State laws. It is possible that some states will try to introduce additional state legislation, creating benefits and some protections for immigrants, like California has done. Some other states may introduce legislation that increases immigration enforcement at the local level. What immigrant families should do now. Talk to an immigration services provider about immigration options. An immigration checkup may include methods of becoming a citizen. Put a child care and family preparedness plan in place. You can download a PDF guide from our website. It includes emergency contact information, a caregiver's authorization affidavit, and some immigration options. Figure out which documents you should and should not carry. Understand your rights and practice asserting them. People should continue to avoid negative interaction with law enforcement. Something like driving under the influence or a conviction related to drugs can have irreversible negative immigration consequences. Eligible legal permanent residents. Naturalize. As an eligible legal permanent resident, there are many benefits to naturalizing as a United States citizen, including protection from deportation, ability to petition more family members, ability to petition some family members faster, ability to vote, undocumented screen for relief. As an undocumented person, you can request to be screened for relief. These options include those who have U.S. citizen or green card holder family members, those who have been abused by a U.S. citizen or green card holder family member, victims of certain crimes or forced work, those who are afraid to return to their home country, and more. Address old convictions. Action item. It is very important for undocumented persons to address old convictions. Trump will be prioritizing people with convictions, so it is important to consult with a post-conviction specialist to determine if there is any way to clean up criminal records. Obtain a copy of the criminal record from the local courthouse or from the California Department of Justice. Effective January 1, 2017, there is a new way for immigrants to erase convictions if they did not understand the conviction's immigration impact. This method takes a matter of a few months rather than years. Child Care Plan. The Family Preparedness Plan is available for download from our website. It includes important considerations for parents. Figure out who can pick up your children if you are unable to. Make sure your children know who can pick them up from school, who cannot pick them up from school, and who will care for them. Keep a file with important documents. This can include medical conditions, allergies, medications your child takes, as well as doctor and health insurance information. Complete the caregiver's authorization affidavit. This is a form to give to your child's school or healthcare provider so a non-parent relative can make decisions on your child's behalf if you are unable to. It does not affect your rights as your child's parent. You still have custody and control of your child. Designate and document someone you trust with power of attorney to make financial, legal, or child care decisions in your absence. You can also register your child's birth with your country's government if your child was born in the United States. This may grant your child benefits, including citizenship in your home country in some cases. Legal self-defense. Know your rights. Anywhere you go in California, ICE must prove a person is not a United States citizen. You always have the right to remain silent. When you're at home, ICE must have a warrant signed by a judge to enter anyone's house. They almost never have this. Help parents know their constitutional rights. Immigration red cards are available in Student Services and the District Superintendent Office. One side is in English and one side is in Spanish. These are also available for download from our website. All people in the United States, regardless of immigration status, have certain rights and protections under the United States Constitution. The red cards were created to help people assert their rights and defend themselves against constitutional violations. Knowing and asserting rights can make a huge difference in many situations, such as when ICE agents go to a home. Red cards provide critical information on how to assert these rights, along with the explanation to ICE agents that the individual is indeed asserting their rights. Do not say anything to the immigration agent if they try to talk to you. Do not open the door if there is an immigration agent knocking at your door. Give your red card to the agent without opening the door. A warning on legal and medical marijuana. 28 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized medical marijuana use. 8 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized recreational marijuana use. Despite some state laws, it is still a federal offense to possess marijuana. Admitting to possessing marijuana can cause very serious immigration problems. In recent cases, Department of Homeland Security officers are asking folks if they have ever possessed or used marijuana and then charging them with being inadmissible to the country, especially in states that have legalized marijuana. These persons have been denied entry to the United States. Action items. Don't use marijuana until you are a United States citizen. Do not work in a marijuana dispensary. If truly needed as medicine, get a legal consultation immediately. Never carry marijuana, medical marijuana cards, or a pipe. Do not have marijuana photos or texts on your phone, Facebook, etc. Never discuss marijuana use with any immigration officer or police. Stop talking and ask for a lawyer. ICE in schools. ICE will probably not come to your school. The Trump administration reaffirmed Sensitive Places Memo. No raids at schools, hospitals, places of worship, marches, and protests. Pending the California Values Act, SB 54 would say that in California, no state or local government employee will cooperate with ICE unless there is a warrant signed by a judge. ICE will not be permitted to enter key public spaces, including public schools and hospitals. Residents have the right to a free education. In the court case Plyler v. Doe, public schools must provide the same free public education to undocumented students as they would to other children. Likely applies to all education services, such as special education and after-school programs. Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. Schools do not have to allow ICE on campus without a judicial warrant or probable cause. The ICE Sensitive Places Memo is an internal policy against enforcement actions on school campuses. ICE requests for student records are subject to the Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA. Records are private except directory information. This applies to all general inquiries for school records. Schools must disclose records if ICE has a judicial warrant. Schools can't share information they do not have. Directory information. Schools can, but don't have to, share directory information. Schools can define what is considered directory information. Schools allow families to opt out of inclusion in the directory. To refer someone to a nonprofit immigration law agency or obtain more information available from the Immigrant Legal Resource Center, visit our MetroEd website at www.metroed.net/rights or go to www.ilrc.org.